Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson, joined now by my friends from Scripps Sports, Kyle Hansen and Grace Lawrence. They will both be on their respective sidelines this weekend for the 124th edition of the Brawl of the Wild. Kyle, I will go to you first because you're in Missoula. This is the first time these two teams are meeting in the Brawl, where both are undefeated in Big Sky play. What are the vibes right now up in Missoula like?
It's exciting. I'm really fired up about it. It's cool because 2 years ago in 2023, these two teams, it was the highest ranked Brawl at that time with a 3-4 matchup. Well, then this year we're redoing that with a 2-3 matchup, which just makes it so much fun. We've talked about it before on this, but I grew up in the state of Montana, and this game is just so much different. It's, quintessentially Montana, and everybody here, it's just, the community really embraces it and accepts it as their own, and it's just so much excitement. And once the week's finally here, you can definitely feel it, and the week's going to fly by because of it. So we're definitely fired up to get this one going.
Grace, you and I did not grow up in the state of Montana yet. This is the second Brawl you'll be covering from the sideline. What have you learned about the importance of this rivalry as you've covered it?
Well, just that it's really, really, really important to everybody in this state. And, we had our weekly press conference with Coach Vegan, and I asked him, you talk about things, like the game and the Michigan, Ohio State, you talk about Auburn, Alabama, all of that. But when people talk about Cat Griz, they just say, it's just different. And I was like, Coach Vegan, why is it different? And he said, in this modern landscape, there's been some tradition and some pageantry loss. And you have two programs in Montana and Montana State. And all the coaches who come through here that we talk to say, they've got it going. They do it the right way. And it's really cool that they still play it at the end of the year. Everything culminates to it. And I don't think these teams need any extra motivation, but it's normally for a Big Sky championship, maybe for a top 2 seed in the playoffs. And it's really great to know these Montana guys and how much it really means to these guys who grew up, and it's their Super Bowl.
Grace, Coach Vegan talks a lot about that want-to-know mentality. He told me his players don't look at necessarily opponent, but more so the opportunity ahead of them. However, you mentioned it, this is for a Big Sky championship. This is for one of those top 2 seeds in the playoff. How are they handling looking internally and not externally at the bigger picture?
Yeah, I've been around this program since 2023, and that playoff loss, that second round playoff loss to North Dakota State when they blocked that extra point, that has really driven this team. You can really date it back to that moment. And I think that last season, the way they were able to rattle off 12 straight wins was that 1-0 mentality, because they said we cannot look ahead of an opponent anymore. I mean, they have a pyramid in their locker room, and at the top of it is win the state, win the sky, and eventually win a national championship. I mean, they're honest that that's what they chase, but I've never been around a team that's obsessed with the process as much as these guys, especially I think about last year, this year. I mean, they really enjoy, conditioning with each other, the 6 a.m. off-season workouts. I mean, they love the process because they want to bear the fruits of their labor at the end of the year.
The big talk, of course, is the number 1 offense in the Big Sky going against the number 1 defense in the Big Sky. We know the key players for both the Griz and the Cats. Kyle, I will go to you first. Aside from that matchup, what will be the X factor in winning this game?
Well, I think it's going to be the flip side, which is going to be kind of fun to watch, right? Is going to be the Cats offense versus the Griz defense. And that chess match is going to be really fun to watch, how they handle one another with some new faces on those units as well, playing in the first Brawl of the Wild. The Cats offensive line is always good. They're a very efficient offense. On the flip side, you look at the Griz defense, quietly a better defense than I think people give them credit for. They see the struggles against the pass, which are definitely warranted, but they give up a lot of yards. But the Grizzlies are still second in the Big Sky in scoring defense behind Montana State. So it's very bend, don't break. It'll be fun to watch how those two units kind of go up against one another, because quietly both of those units are very good.
What I've really loved watching about this offense is just how dynamic they are. It might be the most dynamic offense for this team in years. I mean, Justin Lamson's arm, the way he can throw it, and his plethora of receivers he can throw it to are really phenomenal. And a lot of them have told me how they really feel underrated. They feel the credit is due for how good the defense is on Montana State, but they've been really efficient and they've been really dynamic. And just 2 weeks ago, they put up 66 points on a team. So they want some credit, and they don't mind being the underdogs because they just want to prove everyone wrong.
Coming up, Sam Herder is here to discuss the Big Sky playoff picture.